I have said multiple times that Steep Steps is a game full of mysteries. But aside that one time, I've never really made a video focused on those rare aspects of Roblox's greatest climbing game. So because of that, I've decided to make a video around Steep Steps' greatest mysteries and put them in a conspiracy iceberg. It's not the first time I do one of this. Basically, a mystery iceberg is a format used to classify different mysteries from a determined topic, in this case, steep steps. The higher levels are occupied by the most known and innocent mysteries. However, the lower we go into the iceberg, the darker and stranger the mysteries will get. So without further delay, the Steep Steps Complete Iceberg. It is common knowledge that Jandel is the current owner of Steep Steps. However, many don't know is that Jandel didn't actually create the game. Steep Steps started to gain massive success during the finales of 2022. This due to Flamingo, who made a video on the game. From here, the game blowed up and started to receive tons of new players daily. This popularity attracted Jandel, who saw potential of Steep Steps, and because of that, decided to bought it. Jandel being in charge caused mixed reactions on the community, many claiming that he is ruining Steep Steps' original essence, and others claiming that without Jandel, Steep Steps would have never been as big as it is today. In my own opinion, Jandel is choosing to make the game more gameplay-centered than lore-centered. The first mountain was not only challenging and fun to play, but also felt mysterious. It had an aura of unreality that got lost with the next mountains. Still, Jandel has also brought good stuff to the Steep Steps table, like the glider. It's up to you to decide if Jandel changed the game for the better or the worse. If you have completed any of the mountains, you'll have noticed that right at the top, a massive statue can be found, and upon pressing a button in front of them, they'll start shining and moving. It is crystal clear that they're not normal statues, but something else. Many claim that they are actually gods who were tasked with protecting the mountain, guarding the mountain from the top, prepared in case that an unknown evil rises. Real or fake, truth is that the real nature of these statues is to this day unknown. If you have played Steep Steps, you will have noticed that entire game is full of abandoned buildings. Places like Furia Castle are the remains of old buildings who were built and destroyed by unknown entities. Also, no people can be found in any of these locations. These forgotten buildings are spread throughout the 3 mountains, jewels of a past we don't know, and whose stories and purposes remain unknown to this very day. I already have a video covering this topic. Basically, the St. Patrick update was an update made on, you guessed, St. Patrick. This update caused massive controversy and chaos throughout the Steep Steps community. This update brought us 2 amazing weekly ladders, the Your Ladder and 1 in 100 million ladder, and also brought us the 700 to 800 section from Steep Steps, which is in my opinion, one of the greatest sections in the entire game. But then, if this was a good update, why was so hated? Well, this was the update where the weight feature from ladders was removed, basically deleting heavy ladders. This choice not only drastically changed the gameplay for many who were used to heavy ladders and now were forced to use light ones, but also turned the obsidian ladder into an ugly purple ladder. Despite the backlash of the community, the changes made on the St. Patrick update have never been reverted. Only those who are real OG players of Steep Steps will know about the true origins of the snowflake ladder. Nowadays it is known by everyone that this item can be obtained by completing the Frosty Awakening quest. But what if I told you that its existence was nothing but a myth? Back when not even the first mountain was even finished, there was a very popular video that showed a player finding a hole in the wall, a hole that shouldn't be there in the first place, and inside the hole, an until then unseen ladder could be found. The player referred to it as the snowflake ladder. This video was even promoted in the official Steep Steps Discord server. According to many, the snowflake ladder could spawn anywhere in the mountain, even inside of it, and in case of getting near to it, a path or hole would open to the player, revealing the secret ladder. This myth turned the community upside down. Everyone was desperately looking for this mysterious item. The developers had to come out to explain that the snowflake ladder didn't really exist, and everything had been a prank. But things didn't end here. A few updates later, a new quest was added, the Frosty Awakening quest. And guess what ladder was rewarded upon completing it? The snowflake ladder was finally real. If you have explored the vast world of Steep Steps a bit, there may be a chance that you have found any of its secret areas. The three mountains of this game are crowded with hidden areas without a clear purpose. Some of them have been used to hide weekly ladders, but many others are still in use to this very day. A few examples of secret areas would be the hidden cave behind the waterfall on the starting section of Grassy Grounds, the snowman room on the final section of Starting Steps, the hidden boat near the 300 meters of altitude on Wild West, or the secret camping site on Grassy Grounds. I wonder how many more secret rooms are hidden on Steep Steps that we have simply not found yet. The world of Steep Steps is the home of many mysterious entities, from men of wood to a giant dragon. But from all of them, the giant is by far the scariest and most mysterious one. During the Dragon Scale event, the players would appear in what seemed to be some sort of paradise. However, not long after arriving there, a mysterious giant creature would appear, send the players to what we could refer as the hell of the Steep Steps universe, where a dragon would proceed to attack them. Next to nothing is known about this entity, but according to the Steep Steps lore experts, and by that I mean my subscribers, this creature could be directly linked with the statues on the top of the mountains. Hell, he could be the entity who the statues were made after. I already have a video on my channel about this mystery, but basically, a mysterious green ladder can be found near the temple on Grassy Grounds. This ladder is surrounded and trapped in vines, and despite the multiple efforts of the players to free the ladder, to this day, no one has been able to figuring a method to obtain it. There are multiple theories made around this outcast item. Then again, if you want to know more, I recommend you watching my video about it. It's only 5 minutes long, so it won't take you much time. This entry refers to a supposed secret location that can be found on starting steps. There are many videos on YouTube where players show what it looks like a secret floating island. This island is told to be near the 1,200 meters of altitude, and there is not a known method to get there that doesn't include glitching. However, it's not known 100% if this location truly exists. Open your eyes wide when you are looking at the sky, because maybe, and just maybe, you will be the first to confirm the existence of this paradise. I previously mentioned how Steep Steps is full of secret areas, but the one area I'll tell you about in a moment is so strange, so out of place, and so disturbing, that I had to give it its own entry. A hidden room can be found near the campsite located at 900 meters of altitude on grassy grounds. If for some reason you decided to get out the path you're supposed to walk through, and do a little of parkour, you'll find a hidden room, behind a fake wall. Aside the extremely weird location, what's more disturbing is what's inside of this room. An unknown entity is trapped inside of an ice block. One thing's for sure, this is nothing like the frozen man in Steep Steps. Unlike that, this creature will remain completely unresponsive, like if it was dead. Any attempts to liberate this entity from its prison have failed. Many theorize that in order to liberate this creature, you must use the hairdryer which is given to you to unfreeze the frozen man in Steep Steps. Sadly, this was proven to be impossible, since there's not a known method to take the hairdryer from starting steeps to grassy grounds. Maybe, just like the green ladder, this will serve a purpose in the future. But today, the mystery remains. Out of all the ladders that have ever come out in Steep Steps, none of them is as mysterious as the aqua ladder. The aqua ladder is so rare that not even an official image has come of it, so we don't even know what does it look like. The first time this ladder was ever mentioned was in one of the update logs, where a message stating "Aqua ladder added" could be read. Many claim that they wanted to have another snowflake ladder, and so they added a real secret ladder in-game, so secret that not even a badge was made about it. And that the ladder is still out there, hidden and waiting to be found by someone. Others claim that this was nothing but a mistake in the update log made by the devs, and that the aqua ladder doesn't even exist. I myself have done some research in a few hidden areas from the game, and all my attempts to find the aqua ladder have failed. To this day, the existence of the aqua ladder remains a mystery. If there's one thing in common between the three current mountains of Steep Steps, is the isolation. Maybe some won't have noticed or even felt it, but if you play in an empty server and without music, then you'll witness the reality that was there since the beginning. The isolation, the loneliness, the nothingness. Because aside a few NPC in determined places or falling Fred himself, the world of Steep Steps is reigned by silence. However, that may not be the exact case, since the mountains in this game have certain tenets that you may not have seen or paid attention to. As quiet as they are creepy, humanoid beings made of wood can be seen throughout your climb. Some of them doing human things. Others just lying around, as if they were another stone on the road. In some cases, it seems as if these wooden beings had been humans, living their lives, and suddenly, without warning, they were stolen from their consciousness and left as inert wooden dolls, condemned to be part of the mountain forever. I have my own theories, but I think it's better that I keep them to myself for now. Because there is another point on the iceberg where I will mention them again. Human beings are logical creatures. We try to give a logical explanation to everything that happens around us. And even if that is impossible for us, then we try to give it a spiritual explanation. Because human beings fear what we cannot explain, the unknown, the unpredictable. That is why it is said that nobody is afraid of the dark, but what may be in it. Or death does not scare you, but the uncertainty of the after. The story that I am going to tell you today does not have a logical explanation. And it is by far the strangest and most disturbing event that can happen to you playing this seemingly innocent game. The following event has happened to at least 3 different users, who have all explained similar experiences despite not knowing each other. The event has been referred as Lost Climber. However, there's not a real name for it. I'll proceed to show you what a witness of the Lost Climber had to say about it. It is unknown to this day what exact circumstances the player must be in for this entity to appear. However, we do know information enough to avoid it. The Lost Climber only has appeared in public servers that run out of players. Also, grassy grounds seems to be its mountain of preference, since 2 out of 3 times he has been seen in there, being the other one in starting steeps. It is currently unknown if he can appear in Wild West though. This entity doesn't appear near checkpoints or places where other NPCs are. but mainly in areas between checkpoints where the player tends to be alone. It is unknown what happens if you get near the Lost Climber, since I haven't found anyone who has done such thing. If it's your case, please leave a comment explaining the experience. In my own opinion, I think this entity is nothing but a glitched NPC. Maybe Jandel wanted to add a quest similar to the Shadow Mario in Mario Galaxy, scrapped the idea, and accidentally left the remains of the bot in game still slightly working. Or maybe, just maybe, is something else. Everything happens for a reason, and although that statement may not be truthful in fiction, or at least in bad fiction, it is a fact that there's a story in Steep Steps, a story that hasn't been revealed to us yet, or at least, not in a clear way. I seriously doubt Jandel would keep adding the Wooded Men, or these rare secrets, like the Frozen Man or the Green Ladder, just for fun. There has to be something behind these secrets. There has to be something behind this game. Just like the rest of mysteries in this game, nothing is 100% clear, but still, with the tiny pieces we have been given, a somewhat coherent narrative can be built, a narrative that may make us understand a little better the world we have been climbing in. I'd like to give a huge shout out to this person, since they were the ones who informed me about this quite convincing backstory. I can't prove they're telling the truth, but what they're saying makes a lot of sense, and gotta give credit where it's due. Their story is coherent. According to the comment, the statues on each mountains were once gods. This gods would protect the mountain from any possible threat that may put in danger the inhabitants of it. Because by this point in time, the mountains were nothing like the lonely, cold, and isolated sites we climb today. All those forgotten and broken buildings were once the home of cheerful people who only seek to live a peaceful life in the mountain. But such peacefulness was interrupted by someone. A being who envied the happy life those people had, since they wanted to have something like that, or better said, to control it. But because this was impossible, since the gods wouldn't let it happen, this being decided that if they couldn't control it, it would end. The dragon destroyed the entire land. All those once beautiful buildings were reduced to burnt piles of stone, and the cheerful population that lived in there was turned into wood. But before the dragon could end their task of destroying everything, the gods, using a weapon known as the sacred ladders, vanished the dragon into an abyss so deep into the ground that they would never escape. But that wasn't completely true. The anger and wrath of the dragon for escaping is just getting bigger, especially after an unknown climber stole his dragon scale ladder. The player, who was probably someone who lived in the mountain and could escape, or at least someone who was aware of the legend, and knows that the dragon will come back, is seeking the sacred ladders, which are at the of each mountain, being kept by a statue of the gods. To avoid giving the ladder to any random climber, the gods made sure only someone who knew the mountain like the palm of their hand would be able of reaching the top, aka, only an old habitant of the mountain would be able of completing the journey. Basically, both the player and the dragon are in a race, where the player must get all the sacred ladders before the dragon returns to finish their plan, and whose result will only be decided with time. The mysteries we've seen today are just a fraction of what this game truly hides. If this video does well, I'll probably make a second part, so remember fellow viewer, Always pay attention to your surroundings when playing this game. Also remember to like and subscribe, since it really motivates me to keep doing this videos. Anyways, that was all for today. Good night.